Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back. Um, I'd like to apologize for not being on last week. I tried to get someone on last week to speak to you guys because I wasn't able to, but no one was available. So we move regardless. And the reason why I wasn't available is what I'm going to explain today. So last week I was feeling unwell and having some pain in my abdomen. So I had to go get that checked out. And by the grace of God, all of the results came out fine. Even though I wasn't really feeling fine, I was fine. But where do I begin? Let me start from the backstory. So um, when I was born, I was born with like liver disease, and I don't know what episode I said I'll talk to you about this on, but I gave it like a little snippet, but we're here today. Yeah, so I was born with a liver disease, and yeah, so basically, whenever my mom tried to feed me as a baby, breastfeed me, um, I would not eat the food. Like I'll react. I would not take the food in, and I think the midwife at the time found that a bit weird. So yeah, so they run some tests, sent me home, and when I got sent home, my mom was staying with like because I was born, like so like my grandma, my mom was staying with my grandma so that my grandma can nurse my mom. Obviously, she's just giving birth. Not that there was anything wrong with her, but just to, to look after her whilst look after my mom whilst my mom's look after me. So yeah, basically my grandma was looking after my mom because my grandma before she gave her life to full-time ministry was a midwife. So yeah, and I think my grandma must have been giving me a bottle, and she noticed that I had a bit of jaundice in my eyes, and basically my grandma worked at Woods Cross, and she had a colleague in the pediatrician ward. Did I say that right? Pediatrician. Yeah, I said that right. In the pediatrician ward, and basically she had worked at the hospital that I had my transplant in, but she got transferred to Woods Cross. So my grandma was speaking to like my the doctor that worked at King's, basically King's Cross, not King's Cross, King's College Hospital, London. So she was speaking to her, and because they were colleagues and stuff like that, my grandma brought me into her. So the pediatrician doctor, Dr. Duffy, had a look at me, and then she saw the jaundice as well, and then she said, "Oh, take him to King's and have him be assessed." So I got assessed, and I got diagnosed with atresia. So yeah, that was the type of liver disease I had, and I had a surgery to put like stents in. Honestly, I don't even know what that is, but yeah, I had that done. So basically, when I was a baby, I was in and out of hospital. Like I got christened like when I was 1 years old because I was always in hospital. Like I didn't even have a chance to get christened as a baby. Like when I was christened, I was already walking. I was already standing. But hey, being christened is being christened. there's no such thing as age to it. Yeah, so yeah, I was going through a lot as a baby, being in and out of the hospital, being monitored and checked in on. So like, imagine that could have that how stressful that was on my parents too, like my mom, my dad, um, my grandma as well. So I was in and out of hospital, and you know, um, one thing my grandma did was I don't know if any of you have heard of this conference called Mission to London, and so she went there and she was praying and she was praying that the Lord will bring myself back to her basically. Like it wasn't like I was dying or anything, but I was in a really bad condition. So my grandma was praying that, oh, bring my grandson back to me, and then she saw in a vision like Jesus bringing myself to her, and then she was holding me. Um, so she was holding me while I was praying and stuff like that. And I don't know. I believe that's a miracle because it's probably I would have died then. Um, Maybe I should have died as a baby or something like that. But I'm still here speaking to you guys, so that's glorious testimony. So after that, so my primary school years, basically me as an infant, going to primary school, me as a junior as well. Um, so I was going to school as a child. Obviously, my attendance wasn't the greatest because I was in and out of hospital. So as a child, I was very, very skinny. I was very, very skinny. Like if you were to see some old pictures of me, some of you will be shocked about how skinny I used to be um, pre-transplant. I was very, very skinny. Um, and because of my condition, like, do you know how I spoke to you about not like really as a baby feeding well? Even as a child, I wasn't eating much, didn't really have an appetite, so I was very, 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 very skinny. Um, so I was in and out of hospital as a child. What else? So leading up to my secondary school years, um, I had my transplant in 2011. So I remember the day vividly of when my dad got the phone call that I had to go in to get it done. So I was like 14 years old, and I remember it so well. Like when he got the call, I was in the middle of ironing my PE kit. So it was a Sunday night, Monday at PE, so basically ironing my school uniform. And I was in the middle of ironing my PE kit, and obviously when my dad got the call, um, I ran in my room and started crying. But what do you expect? Like, it's a very major surgery. I was so scared. I was very, very scared. Um, yeah, so obviously packed my clothes, took the ambulance to the hospital. Obviously, I'm scared. I'm really, really scared. And once I get into the hospital, they gave me like it allowed me to. I got to the hospital around early in the morning, like around 1 or 2 a.m. Silly o'clock, basically. Silly o'clock. Um, I had cereal and I believe I had Rice Krispies because after that, that was basically my last thing I could eat before like the operation. That's if you've had the operation before, you know that basically you need to go in there with an empty stomach, isn't it? So had that. Um, obviously prayed with my family and went in. So I went in to the theatre. Um, I was asleep for. I think I was asleep for 2 days or a day and a half. I was asleep for a day and a half. Woke up. The first person I saw was my grandma, um, like in ICU, and yeah, so that was good to see. Good to see her. Um, And I think it was very symbolic because I know my grandma was like a prayer warrior. Like I have a family full of prayer warriors, but like if you know my grandma, and then like that's my grandma. You get me? um, yeah. So it was very. I felt like it was very symbolic that I saw her first. And so after I woke up, I think um, they my grandma bathed me, but because I had so many tubes in and stuff like that. It wasn't really like a proper bath, but it was like how can I call it? Like a rub down, like a rub down with soap and water. It wasn't like like a proper scrubbing and stuff like that. No, it wasn't like that. It's just like a rub down, make sure I'm smelling fresh and everything. Did that, went into my ward, and yeah, went into the ward. Um, had to relearn how to because bit by bit they're taking off the tubes off me. So I had to learn how learn how to breathe again. I breathe by myself, and breathing is actually so mad because you do it so like it's a reflex. You do it involuntarily, like just do it naturally. Like so you like when you're breathing, you're not even thinking about it, but you're breathing, and like I had to learn how to breathe, and although it seems so seamless and so easy, it is one of the hardest things you can learn how to do again. Like it's so crazy to think that I had to learn how to breathe. And what they I think how I had to learn was like blowing bubbles. I had to learn by blowing bubbles and stuff like that. Um when I got my strength together, um I had to learn how to walk. What else did I have to do? I had to learn how to open my bowels again, like when they took the tubes out. I had to learn how to urinate again. I had the tube there as well. Like I'm sorry if this is a bit graphic. Um, yeah, I had to learn how to eat solids again. Like obviously I had to start with my even like before I got into solids, I had to learn how to drink liquids. So like stuff like soup, I had to learn how to drink that again. I had to learn. I had to learn how to drink soup again because I was on a tube. So the machine was feeding me. So I had to learn how to drink soup, and then obviously get into my solids and things like the mashed potatoes and things like that, like soft stuff before I go for the the hard stuff, the solid stuff. Um, yeah, so I had to learn how to eat. I had to learn all of these things, and God is so gracious, and God is such a miracle working God. I was able to do all of these things. I was in and out of the hospital within 10 days. That's how amazing God is, because that is such a major operation. Some people um like they're there for like 6 months. Some people are even there for a year. People are there for months, not even weeks, months. I was in and out in 10 days, like not even 2 weeks, 10 days. they said I set a record. Like all of the nurses and doctors were surprised. They were surprised at how fast I recovered. I'm like, don't know the God I serve, man. You don't know the God I serve. But yeah, I was in and out within 10 days. So that is a miracle on its own. But yeah, and when my grandma was alive, she was telling me that when I got to the hospital, my liver was so weak that the doctor was telling like the person that operated me was telling my grandma that he's even lucky to be alive. I really should have been dead at 14. I really shouldn't be alive telling this testimony. Like, yeah, she told me that my liver was very weak. It was pretty much finished. Yeah, so we serve a mighty God, and even I've missed something out, and I missed something that's very crucial. Um, before I had my transplant, like the week before, my church was doing like a prayer conference. I don't know if it was a prayer and a fast, but definitely prayer was involved. So like we're in the church, yeah, we're at the church praying every night and stuff like that. So yeah, I was really interceding for like my healing, and the week after, like God, that that week, he moved fast. He really moved fast that week. Like even in terms of being on the waiting lists, I wasn't on the waiting list for a long time when I think about it. I don't even think I was on it for 6 months. I think tops I was on it for 3 months. I'm not too sure, but I know I was on the waiting list for a very, very short time. Um, like I got a match very quickly, and I think that's just the Lord's doing because the way they were saying that my liver was gone, it had to be the Lord's doing because yeah, and even the way I interceded for myself, yeah, it had to be the Lord's doing. So it really is a testimony on how far the Lord has brought me, and you know, I don't necessarily know what my calling is. Some people look at me and be like, "Oh, you're gonna be a pastor." Some people have called me pastor. Some people have called me apostle. Some people have called me bishop. I've been called every name under the sun. I honestly, I do not know what my calling is. But one thing I do know is that God has a plan and a purpose for me because I don't think if He did not have a plan and a purpose for me, He would have moved for me the way He has. Because honestly, um, there'd probably be someone else doing a PK song or someone else doing a gospel karaoke or something like that. So He clearly had a plan and a purpose for me. So regarding of whether you're feeling like you don't know what your calling is. Me too. I don't know what my calling is. I don't know if I'm here to be a preacher. I don't know if I'm here just to do this, for the rest of my life. Or maybe God wants me to move on to something else. I do not know what my calling is, but one thing I do know is that I have been called to do something for His glory, and I have to do it with an open heart to serve Him. And you know, at times I feel like a lot of us we want the answers now. We want the yeah, that's the best way to say it. We want the answers now. We want to know what our life or what our future holds right now. But at times I feel like the beauty of not knowing is the best thing that could happen to us, because I feel like if we did know, we'd probably skip all the trials and the tribulations to get there, because we would know how to get there. So we'll be avoiding them. But at times, the trials and the tribulations make us who we are. Like, I've got scars. Like, my visible scars are nothing compared to my what is it? My emotional or my spiritual scars or whatever. Like, these scars that I have, um, it's just um, it's just a testimony of what I've been through. Like, yeah, you can visibly see my scars, but I feel like my emotional scars are far more meaningful than my visible scars. Um, yeah, like even I broke my arm when I was 6 years old, and I have a massive scar on my arm. If you've ever seen me in short sleeve, you would see it. You'll see this massive scar on my right arm. Um, and for my whole life, like I broke my arm when I was 6 years old. My whole life, people have been touching it, people have been looking at it, people have been asking what happened, and I'll tell them that I broke my arm. Then people will be like, "Yeah, but when you break your arm, you don't really like need scars like that." Like my scar it's loud. That's how I can describe it. My scar is loud. But if you were to see my scar, and if you see the way I like play drums, because drums you're swinging your arms all over the place. Let's be real, your arms are going all over the place. If you see the way I play drums, and then you look at my arm, you'll give glory to God. You would actually give glory to God, because really and truly, like, someone like me should not be playing drums. If you look at my arm, I should not be playing drums. But I'm here, broken arm and all, serving God. So yeah, at times our trials and tribulations make us who we are. Without our trials and tribulations, we'll be nothing. We'll be nothing. Like at times I heard this. I think it was Elder Juanita Francis saying this. She was saying that please don't quote me, because the way she said it and the way I'm going to say it, I know I'm going to get the words mixed up. But she was saying that like I said, don't quote me. The things we go through, at times we should not actually blame the devil. At times, like the things we go through it's God. It's God, like that is putting us through these things so that we can come out of it, and we can, testify of how good he is, and like we can use that to also like show people the glory of God. And it's true. Please don't quote me on that. Um, luckily for me, I know she's not gonna see this, but please don't quote me on that. Yeah, so um, yeah, that's my testimony, and I want to tell you, I want people to hear this testimony and know that what do I want you guys to know? I want you guys to know that no matter what you're going through, you are a living testimony. I know there's probably, like, I know whoever's watching this or whoever's listening, I know you've all been through something that is a living testimony to God. And honestly, sometimes we don't even need to preach too much or teach too much or say much. Sometimes we just got to tell people our testimonies, and people will truly realize how good of a God we serve. You know what I'm saying? how amazing our God is and how He will always see us through. Yeah, like at times just share your testimony and you know it will speak to someone, it will speak to someone's heart. So yeah, I know this is not really you know, me speaking about, PKs or tailoring to PKs or whatever, but at times I feel like um sharing your testimony is enough. And you know what? I don't think I actually share my testimony enough. I don't think I know, unless I tell people, I don't think many people know what I've been through. Um, I don't even think I've shared this to like, people. Obviously, people in my church know what's happened to me. But I don't think I have grabbed a mic and full on said this, that, this. It's always my mom that is doing all the talking. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, like when I was like even secondary school, or even when I was in primary school, like I missed a lot of school. I missed a lot of learning, and like throughout all of those missed dates and absences, like I have a master's degree. Like that is crazy. That is actually crazy. Like that is nuts. I missed a lot of school. Like my attendance like was bad, but obviously the teachers were aware of what was going on with me. So like when I came into school, I would come in for school like I barely like I you know what? I doubt I would like if I was 100 like if this wasn't my story, I feel like I would have been one of those people that had 100% attendance at school. I honestly believe that in my heart. I honestly believe that in my heart. I would have been one of those people like probably not every year, but there'll be a few years where I would have hit 100%. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I have a master's degree, and if you know what I've been through, like that is wild. Like God has used me to get a master's. Like I missed a lot of school. Like I don't think you understand. I missed a lot of school. Um. So yeah. This is my testimony. Um. So yeah, something a bit different. You know, something a bit different. So yeah. Share your testimonies. Because sometimes that's just enough. Speak to someone or to encourage someone. Um. Yeah. Share your testimonies. Yeah. And I will leave it here.